Hey guys, hope you guys are having a great weekend. I wanted to make a quick and short video discussing a topic that I feel most are unaware of. Today I want to show you guys how Wall Street has found a way to access public pensions, which they use to steal wealth from workers and then keep the money to themselves. This video is going to be one of the type to open your eyes, and it will cause a lot of frustration based on what I am about to show you. I ask that you keep an open mind and watch it thoroughly, because what we will discuss is very important to know, whether you work in the public sector or the private sector. Please keep it civil and clean in the comments. I want to thank David Sirota and Edward Seidel, whose work greatly contributed to what this video will be about. Before we get started, let me quickly disclose and state that I am not a financial analyst or advisor, and that all contents discussed in this video are provided as opinions. All efforts are placed to better understand the nature of the current market in anticipation of the greatest squeeze in financial history. Everything presented is evidence I collect, and all opinions are based on research, experience and knowledge on the matter. Shout out to all my Patreons and one-time donors, who continue to support this channel. Let's dive into this. A lot of forensic investigation has been done to look into retirement plans, which amounts to trillions of dollars worth of public pension systems that have accrued government workers' retirement savings over decades. Former SEC Attorney Edward Seidel, who has secured the largest CFTC Whistleblower Award in history and also secured the largest SEC Whistleblower Award in a $365 million JP Morgan Chase settlement, has conducted decades worth of research into public funds, and what he uncovered is perhaps one of the biggest cases of theft and fraud in American history. Wall Street is engaging in high-risk, high-cost and least transparent state pension gambling, helped and assisted by Wall Street managers, investment consultants, lawyers, brokers and custodian banks. The deal with this is that the victims, the common taxpayer, who are counting on their retirement, are paying a very high price for their shenanigans. The problem is currently so bad that many state pensions are currently risking 25 to 50% of all of their assets in secretive alternative funds. State pensions, as Edward so clearly showed and pointed out, are heavily invested in the riskiest alternatives commonly termed as black box. We are starting to experience very poor performance based upon inflated and impossible to verify asset values. The problem is so bad that the FBI has now begun stating it has high confidence that hostile foreign powers as well as criminals could be using hedge and private equity funds to launder money, circumventing traditional anti-money laundering programs. The problem is so bad that the FBI themselves admitted that they are not equipped to investigate money laundering at the non-traditional asset managers. As Edward pointed out in an article, if law enforcement and regulators are not up to task of taking on criminal money laundering, what are the chances that your state pension is? Research into state pensions concludes that they do not even fully understand the unique risks related to alternative investments and that there is not a single state pension that is capable of safeguarding workers' retirement funds from the dangers. You might be wondering, what does Wall Street have to do with money laundering? Wall Street exposes state pensions to these type of risks for quick profits. They are the ones working and paying politician campaigns so that there is no oversight into state pensions. Boards of directors and trustees at state pensions are made up of people who lack any knowledge or expertise in investment matters. You see, board members are often appointed by politicians who rarely represent the interest of taxpayers. Other times they are made up from retired cops, teachers or other public servant jobs that have little to do with investment branches. There is a lack of experience and total conflict of interests in these positions. These people handle billions of dollars worth of investments, and we wonder why things are the way they are. You see, state pension boards and staff typically do not take well and react very hostile to expert advice. At best they ignore them, and at worst they get very hostile when confronted with data which conflicts with the self-serving recommendations of Wall Street. You see, Wall Street's solution to every pension problem is always to pay them more in fees. The greater the fees, the more Wall Street is incentivized to sell that investment, making it more likely for state pensions to end up owning more money. You know what? Let me break this down for you guys even more. Public pensions are a huge business as of themselves. Many think of pensions as a pool of money sitting at a vault. This is absolutely incorrect, and you need to rid yourself of such ignorance this instance. They are a massive business venture that is very exciting to the board members on Wall Street. The reason is because there is currently around $5 trillion in public pension systems. Pension money, for those that are too smooth-brained, is essentially deferred compensation for millions of public sector workers, who in exchange to agreeing to be paid less than their private sector counterparts, accept lower wages in exchange for pensions. Officials in the government across the states have begun funneling this money into private equity, hedge funds and even real estate. About $1 trillion of all this money is now sitting in one of these alternative investments, which is what we referred to earlier. As is common with greed, financial firms at Wall Street are capitalizing on this and urging local and state officials to keep funneling more money into these alternative investments. Guys, listen to me very clearly. The problem is getting so out of control, the corruptive nature of Wall Street is spreading so large, that they are now looking to also break into the even larger 401k market. Let me tell you a sad story, and if you are from the state of Pennsylvania, I feel for you. Officials in the state of Pennsylvania admitted to pumping about 2/3 of the state retirement system into alternative investments. The strategy generated below average returns for people that retired, but it also generated $4.3 billion worth of fees for Wall Street firms. The money that the common folk pulled out was so low that it did not even beat the low-fee stock index fund in the market. Do you think the problem is unique and exclusive to Pennsylvania? In Ohio, forensic investigation estimated that Teachers' Pension Fund is paying $500 million in fees to Wall Street. These are not isolated incidents, people. These is the normal, the average, of how things are running across America, and I am about to show you how it's about to get even worse, because this story does not end in melancholy or sadness, it ends in full cathartic desperation and in tears. The money being generated by these big firms is being spent on women and drinks. Instead, it is being used to carefully fund a war to exacerbate inequality between Americans and to intensify the class war. They are paying high bids to get you to hate your neighbor. Let me show you how. The high fees collected by Wall Street are being used to elaborate ta heavens for billionaires in particular. In corporations, the money is being put into private equity and real estate partnerships, which reports calculate to avoid over $75 billion a year. Let's go even deeper. The money derived from teachers, cops, firefighters and everyone in the public sector is being used to fund political apparatus, and they have succeeded in preserving not only tax loopholes, but now have been able to create secrecy laws, securing Supreme Court ruling that fortify their business by keeping things on the low and quiet. Let me drop the hammer even lower for you guys. Pension money was the investment capital that fueled the mortgage-backed securities that blew up the entire global economy back in 2008. As if this wasn't enough, the money has been invested in private equity firms that keep on buying the nation's housing stock that we have been talking about this week. All those middle-class houses getting bought out, that's Wall Street. Even mobile home parks are starting to get scoured by these absolute parasites. They plan on increasing rent, kicking tenants out in order to raise funds to buy even more suburban homes. They will invest a great deal of money to market your neighbor as the enemy, because his race or age or political affiliation or religion will be made to be the excuse for why you can't afford to buy food for your children. This is not a race against billionaires. This is a fight for survival right now. This is the endgame for us, and unless drastic measures start taking place, the middle class is going to vanish, and it will literally be poor against the rich. Everyone is getting fleeced by Wall Street. My friends tell me how much they are struggling right now. The ones that want to have children abstain from it because having a kid is ridiculously expensive. Many are moving back with their parents. Even people I know that come from wealthy backgrounds are starting to move in with roommates because living expenses make it almost impossible to be independent. I made this video with the intention to inform you as to the facts that are never going to be shown on the media. They display political affiliations as the culprit behind all of this, but Wall Street is color gray. They pay the blue party as much as they pay red party. I hope this video served to open up your eyes. Have a great rest of your day. I will see you guys tomorrow for another video. Let me know in the comments if you liked this video and how you feel about it. Feedback is crucial in this channel, so don't hold back. Big shout out to Edward and David, whose due diligence and contributions helped me understand the extent of the current economic affair happening across America. I will continue to buy meme stocks, because I believe them to be a ticket to perhaps bringing about some much needed change. Do not think this is all that separate from the ongoing on the market. Everything is connected, which is why I will continue to make this type of video. If you want to help this channel, I have provided links which will be in the description for donations and a Patreon if you would like to pledge a monthly donation of any kind. This support really goes a long way for me, guys. All money is spent on improving equipment and other parts of the channel so that we can continue to upgrade the quality of Simulate and Trade. It is my source of income as I am doing this full time now. It makes a huge impact and difference, so if you are able and willing, do consider it. I shall see you guys tomorrow on the next one. Until then, enjoy the rest of your day and to the moon.